Good morning. Welcome to Come to Mama. I am coming in the AM hours before I head to bed, but I want, oops, didn't do that. Um, I wanted to come on and I wanted to talk about experiences, good or bad. And you ever think about the old days when you were younger, that first love, that first breakup, that first betrayal, that beautiful first kiss, um, the birth of your first child or the many children that you may have had, and the experiences that you've had in life, times and places. It could be a song that just takes you back. And good or bad, for me, I just want to say I am so thankful for all my experiences, even the ones that hurt me the most. I'm thankful for my experiences. They have helped me and mold me into the person that I am today. Good or bad, things that have happened to me, I'm really thankful for what has happened to me. And, I didn't realize how important having the attitude of gratitude is because at the end of the day, we know that we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And we choose and we attract to us what comes to us. And, I never really knew that until, I started kind of growing and ascending in my life and realizing the things that I have invited into my life and was perfectly fine with it. Um, and at the time, I was gullible. I was gullible, probably more gullible than most. But for what I realize now is that my spirit team, boy, I tell you, my ancestors have looked out for me and mine. I mean, we are kept. We are kept and we are kept safe. Um, have you ever thought about relationships that you've had, people that you've met? Like for me, I've met a couple of men in my life that were just, I mean, I felt so attracted to them and so passionate about them. And at first, they gave me some play, they were interested, but when they seen that, oh, she'll put more in than I will, then, they played little head games with me. And eventually I just let them go. I mean, my own ego would not allow me to. Well, one of the times that's a good time when your ego steps in, like, girl, don't be stupid. That man ain't trying to do nothing with you, but he's just gonna take what he can get from you and get to running. And he might have took a little bit, but I remember though wanting them so much. Like it made me want them so much more because they were a challenge, because I was just so attracted to them, because they got their little pimping game going on. You turn a 10 into a 2, because you get them hooked, you treat them good, and then you pull the rug out from up under them, right? And then you see if they're weak enough to want you bad enough. Then you come running back, and they keep doing it and keep doing it until you just start accepting everything they give you, and it's usually nothing. And you're usually out there on the whole stroll selling your body and making money, and you're putting it in his hands and psychologically letting him get in your head and tell you need him to take care of you, right? Or you get you a man, and you get to, the sex is good, and then he didn't really have it together when you met him. He was living with his mama, or he was living and didn't have a, with another woman, and had kids already that he wasn't taking care of. And then you get with him and he sex you up real good, so then you make arrangements to think it's okay to let him come on ahead and move in with you. And then next thing you know, you're the one that's impregnated by him, and you're going to work and paying the bills. He dropping you off in your car, so while you at work, so that he can go do whatever he want to go do, which is more than likely something that's probably not good. He ain't up to no good because he ain't being no man, right? He found a mama. And so, these experiences that we go through are to teach us, are really more or less really self worth. And, the more that they hurt us because they portray that it's love, because they portray that fakeness, or they know that all they got to do is give it to you good, and because you're weak-minded enough to think that that's enough, and you're so into the dopamines and the good feeling of the sex that you convince yourself that you love this man and that you can't live without him, and you're willing to sit up there and deal with anything he brings to you. And I was thinking about this because I'm not judging nobody, because I mean I've been there in a sense and done that. I've never been married to any of my husbands, and I've been married twice where we had, third party situations where women were a part of my life, where even if they did cheat, because they did, they never established a whole nother relationship with a woman while they were with me. It was like they went and fucked somebody else, but they never brought nobody to my home. I never fought no woman over my husband, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Either way, it doesn't matter. Cheating is cheating. Betrayal is betrayal. Deception is deception, right? But the point that I was trying to make was is that I have seen. I went to a barbecue at a friend's house, and her son had. Mm, he had a baby. Then he had a little girl, and then he had like two or three boys from another woman, and all the mamas was at the barbecue. And I mean nobody was fighting, so I don't know, you know whether or not they were friends. I don't know what the deal was, but you know I mean, hey, uh it's okay for some people, and I mean, who says you can't? All I'm saying is that at what point did these women decide to share? Do they really want to share? Do they really want to be in this situation? How can one man provide the one-on-one attention that may be needed, to not only father the children, but to give them what they need? I mean, you're spreading yourself thin. I mean, personally, for me, and this is me, okay, because everybody's different. Like I always, like some of my headers say, who says you can't? You can. Some people do it, but at what cost are you doing it? If you're doing it and you're just perfectly fine with it, and it was an agreement that was made in advance, and y'all was like, "Hey, you go on ahead and go over there and screw Billy Bob or Billy Sue, and if y'all make a baby, I'm cool with it. And you go over there, you can, and then y'all can make a baby with Sarah down the street, and then we could be one big happy family. I don't mind sharing you. I ain't tripping. Fine, that's fine if it's an agreement. But most of the time, it's not the agreement. Most of the time, there is a level of thinking that you're going to be with this person, especially when you've had multiple children with someone, because one time getting pregnant by somebody accidentally is one thing, but then to go back and have sex with somebody and get impregnated by them again, knowing, you know, that's, what that is, what it is. And there's women that convince themselves. I mean, that's okay for them, knowing that they want more than that, and they'll lie to themselves, and they'll do without, and they'll be the ones that get left with the bulk of the relationship responsibilities. They're usually the ones that are crying and hurt. They're usually the ones that have the bulk of the responsibility of the children, you know and like one of my child, my one of my daughters, one of her friends, they went to school together, and the girl got pregnant by somebody and had a miscarriage, and the girl tried to kill herself, and she ended up graduating and moving away. No, she ended up graduating and getting pregnant by the guy again, but the guy had baby mamas up the yin yang, or he had a baby mama with a bunch of babies already, and she got pregnant again, and she ended up moving away and having a baby, but then she ended up moving back to this guy, and now she's going through it. And again, people, at what cost? At what cost? It's really desperation is what is at that point. You're acting in desperation and you're lying to yourself. So as long as you're in a situation and you're not lying to yourself and you fully understand what you're about to go through and what you're about to deal with, and that's okay with you, that's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. If you're like, you know what? I don't care. I work. I'm busy. I only need some peanuts once in a while. He give it to me good. So I mean, I ain't tripping. And I got a baby with him. I know I'm be paying for everything, but I got a good job. I got it like that. I'm good. So yeah, he could go ahead and do whatever he want to do. And he can come over here and live up off of me. If you like it, I love it. It's not a problem to me. Go on ahead and do what you want to do. If you got it like that, but do you really want that? Do you really? No. You're on social media whining and crying when things ain't right, and they run over to the other's family. You let the whole world know, you know, that right there is showing that's what you want. You want, it's not that you want that bad situation. You want a meaningful, loving man that's only going to be with you. But you're lowering your self value and being desperate to where you will allow somebody to take full advantage of you and not be a man, not be a provider, protector, and not even take care of the child that you have together. Who's loving you, baby? Who's loving you? Because he ain't. But if he did, you would know. Because you would be happy getting what you want. So let's get back to the experiences. That was just an experience. It was one that hurt. And girl, I know you want them bad, just feel passionate about them, right? But it was just an experience to lead you to you, to lead you to understand what you want, because you can have what you want. You can have what you need. You can have a provider protector. You can have a young stallion making great love to you, and will be right there with you to raise your children and have a growing beautiful life together. You can have it if you want it, if you don't settle for it, for less. But in my experiences in the past, I'm so thankful for them. I'm not in a relationship right now. I'm single. I want to be in one, but I know specifically what it has to be like. Now I'm not talking about, oh, he got to be look like this and he got to look like that and he got to have this and he got to do that. No. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and I want another spiritual being, someone who's trying to have, know that they're spiritual beings having a human experience, and knowing that they create their destiny, and you know, I want to be somebody's life cheerleader, and I want a life cheerleader for me. I'm not saying that I want somebody we're gonna open up a business and we got to do everything together. I'm saying that whatever my path is, that person's cheering me on, that they're providing for me and they're protecting me along the way. That's what I want in my life. I want to be whatever they're doing. I want to be positive backing behind them, that positive reinforcement, that cheerleader behind them, that beautiful love that I have in my heart to just, you know, give to them when they need to come lay their head down, you know, or when they just need a hug or a kiss. Sex is wonderful, but it's not everything. I've had a lot of sex in my life, and I'm 49 years old, and it's not the most important thing in the world to me. The connection and sharing my life with somebody is. Sex will come with that. But the connection and sharing my life with someone is what's important to me. But what I won't have is I won't be bringing anyone around my children that I can't trust to be around me, that doesn't respect me. You won't be around my children. You know, you will not be in my bed if I cannot trust you to respect me or my children. And I'm sorry, I can't be nobody else's mama but my 8 children, ranging from 30 to 10. And all of them don't live with me, but 3 of them do. And what I know I need now is different than what I did when, and that's because I went through the experiences I went through in these relationships. And sometimes you'll look back and you'll rethink about it and the pain. But what I do is I just talk to myself with love and I just tell myself, thank you. Thank you for the experience because I know now I will not go through that again. I will not. I will not be passionate about another person and long for them and want them if they're not the same, they're not feeling the same about me. I know now what to look for. I know, you know, that when someone's playing games that I didn't realize then. I, didn't realize it. But I know now because the experiences that I have went through in my life to know the difference. Now, I have a lot to learn still, and I will always be a student of the universe. But the universe rewards you when you're paying attention, when you pass the test. And then don't think that when you got over a situation that there ain't going to be some type of, some test that they're going to put you through, right? To see if you really learned. And I think that what I learned is that um, one of the things that I learned is it's all about how you look at a situation, um, even a past love, because some people do, come back together and they come back together for the betterment and they make things work, right? Sometimes it's meant to be, sometimes it's not. But you don't make that choice, right? Especially if you're the one that's been giving and giving and giving and you had to let it go because it was just not being reciprocated back and you were being drained, right? You have to let go. And then you have to let that other person show you whether or not they're worthy to come back to you. And it's funny because 9 times out of 10, you don't even want to be with them anymore by that time. And then in my experiences, that once I gained my self worth about certain things, that person that I had to let go, that I was so in love with, wanted me back. And I mean, just was going hard, going hard, going hard. But we were out of balance by then. We were no longer in the same, we were out of balance. And so these experiences are that, people come into our lives to teach us about ourselves and to help us gain more knowledge and love and just experiences. So, my first husband, we had, three children together, and we had our first child. And I remember the birth of our first child and how happy we were in our first little apartment. And then I remember the not so, happy situations that occurred. We had our second child, and then I remember we had our third child. And while I was pregnant with our daughter, who's our third child, he just betrayed me in the worst way. In the worst way. And there was just no coming back from that. No coming back. And I tried to make it work. But, me being who I am, I have limits. I will eventually, and that's that ego that you have that protects you. It's like, nah, no more. I'm not willing to go through it anymore. And I'm glad. I'm glad that I protected myself. I'm glad that I decided no. Because a lot of times people just are who they are. And usually by that time, the balance is out of place. It's just, not where it's supposed to be. Maybe we weren't supposed to be together forever. Maybe we weren't soulmates. Maybe we were meant to come together and make these beautiful babies and separate. My second marriage, I had 5 children with that man. And I remember the beautiful birth of our first child all the way to the last. But I remember a lot of the pain and suffering that I went through you know, with the relationship. I remember being a mama to him. I remember, just enduring a lot of pain. And I'm thankful. I'm so thankful that, oh, you know what? I forgot to put my little light up. So this is going to be dark and glitchy. Sorry, guys. If anybody's watching or does watch, I do apologize. I do have this little ring light I bought so that I can do a little bit more light because it looks all dark and gloomy over here. But I'm almost done with this read. Read. I don't know why I keep saying read, but I do want to do pull an oracle card for tonight. But experiences again. It helps you learn about you. It helps you learn about fears. There we go. Hey. It helps you learn about fears and how fear holds you back. I think I've learned really about overthinking things and overreacting to situations before you really know the outcome has really screwed me up big time, and has caused me to really make the wrong moves in my life about situations, like in particular, like a job. Instead of me just kind of sitting back and seeing how things panned out and not always being reactive, I instead ended up putting myself through so much more pain. And on top of that, I gave my job so much ammunition to screw me over instead of me just sitting back and not reacting, just doing what I could and what I was supposed to and not reacting. And, but I'm so thankful for that experience because guess what? I don't have those issues anymore because I learned. I learned. I understand now. I understand. Right? So, experiences, I mean, gosh, I'm just thankful for them all. Um, sometimes those sad ones and things that hurt you, it gets to the pit of your stomach and, it brings emotion, and that's okay. Just love on you, love yourself. Don't let it harden your heart. Don't let it harden your heart because your heart's supposed to be open to experience more, right? And then what I learned from those things that hurt me was how to look out and be a little bit more cautious on how much I give, or, to understand that certain people's problems are their problems, not yours. And so don't take it, get offended, because that's how they feel about things. Go ahead and interact, even if people aren't friendly, even if people don't love you back. Be the loving person that you are, right? Or be the mean person, whatever you are, just be who you are. Be the authentic you, okay? Because you're going to be most happy. My daughter, and I have three girls, one of them, she said, Mom, I met a guy and I don't want to go. I like him a lot and I'm afraid that I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to wait. I'm giving him 6 months. And I'm like, 6 months for what? And she's like, well, I'm giving him 6 months. I'm not going to give him no more of my time past 6 months. I was like, well, gosh, how long has it been? Well, it's only been like 2 months. You don't even know this dude. You don't even know yet. Is he nice to you? Yeah. Well, I told him that I wanted to have more with him, but he said he doesn't think he's ready. So, okay. And he's not ready. It's only been 2 months. Like, give him some time. And so she just was really like really stressing over it. I'm like, just enjoy the moment. I said, listen, did the guy start treating you differently? Did he pull back from you? Does he still call you? Do y'all still have a good time together? Okay. Well, if he pulls back from you, then you know he just not that into you and doesn't really want to go that further. But if he doesn't pull away from you, it just means that he wants to take his time in this relationship. And that is okay. But don't start putting, experience it. Don't start putting restraints on it right now, because give him a chance to even show you if he's somebody you even want to be with. 2 months is not a long time, so give it some time. And so a couple weeks later it comes by, she's like, oh, I really like him, we spend more time together, he told me he loved me. I don't know how I feel about that. How should I feel? And I'm like, girl, if just a couple weeks ago you was crying about you don't know if he likes you enough, now, and you don't want to give him your time. Now he tells you he loves you, and now you like. I said, look, you playing. Just go on ahead and sit back and enjoy the experience. And then she was like, well, I don't know if that's. I'm like, quit lying because you was just crying, so you know you want love from him. You know you love him. She's like, yeah, I do. Quit playing. Like you're making the universe, you making me confused, and you definitely making the universe confused because you playing that, you got that ego in there. It's like 1 minute it's like, oh, I'm afraid to lose him, and then the next one is like, well, I don't know if I really want him to love me. Okay, look, you doing too much. So hey, what you need to do is just be like, I'm gonna go with the flow and I'm gonna go with the experience, and we're gonna figure it out as we go along. And since I've been in a couple experiences in the past, I've learned some things, so therefore I probably am not going to stick with a situation that's not conducive to a growing environment for me, right? Okay, so let's pull some oracle cards. I have this beautiful magical herb oracle. And I like herbs, and I'm getting into herbs, and I am learning to use herbs for medicinal purposes. So I found these on, I don't know where I got these from. I might have got them offline. I might have got them offline, to tell you the truth. Not sure. All right, Spirit, give us a card or some cards, whatever you see fit. And it was actually a couple of cards that came out too. The first one is protection. The second one is freedom. Protection and freedom. And this protection, the herb is echinacea, and freedom is mugwort. Now let's see what this book says about how these oracle cards pertain to this reading tonight, and how we can use whatever these cards represent and the meanings of them towards experiences, good and bad, and the many things I talked about in this tonight. So we're going to go with protection, which is number 30, and that's echinacea, which is really good for sinuses, amongst other things, right? Protection, echinacea. The oracle meaning: there is a need to take a more active role in strengthening your defenses, and moderation may be called for as energies seem to be out of balance. Do not bottle up feelings or thoughts. And now is the time to voice concerns calmly and with care to ensure future similar issues do not arise in the same way again. Patience may also be needed as it is as is a little self-reflection to work out what is it is you really want and to stay true to your purpose and inner truth. Let's see. This is really going to tell you where the flower's from and all that good stuff. The planet is Jupiter. The signs are Sagittarius, Taurus, Scorpio, and the element is fire. Echinacea is used in offerings to spirits by Native Americans. Growing echinacea around your home will draw in prosperity and protect those who live within. When going through hard times, you can carry the herb with you to provide and tap into your inner strength. The addition to echinacea to any spell will increase its power. Well, I don't do spells, I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't mind people who do. So, balance, it talks about protection, um, not bottling up feelings, and voicing your opinion, voicing your concerns calmly. Um, Self reflection to work out what it is you really want and to stay true to your purpose and inner truth. And that's like that has a lot to do with like what I was just talking about. My daughter is like, you know, you got to let that wall down and really speak your truth, even if you're vulnerable, especially when it's someone that you really care about or you want to have a future with, or if it's a family member and, the relationship is just not good, or even your job. You even have to be vulnerable to a certain extent, when you don't feel safe or when you feel you're being treated poorly. You need to speak your truth. So you don't have to fight to do that. You just let somebody know, hey, you're hurting me. And also, being clear about what you want and remembering that things got to be in balance a lot of times in order for it to work, because otherwise it's like trying to put a puzzle piece into the wrong space. It's just not going to fit. This usually when things just fit, they just work out. So, like, my daughter was self sabotaging herself because it's what she wanted. And then when she got it, then she was questioning it, right? And her ego was like, oh, well, I don't know. No, that's what you really want. Don't play with yourself like that. Because then what you do with the energies is if they're not sure, then the guy doesn't want to be with you. Then you're crying and hurt again. Be real with yourself and what you want. Be real with yourself and what you want. Because if you are, you will not allow things to come into your life around you and waste your time. You will learn from the experience and you will move forward from there. And you'll understand that I was being desperate or I don't like being alone. And so I'm willing to accept anything to be in my life. Then you have to ask yourself, well, why don't I like being alone? Why do I need to have somebody there? Why? Why do I need to be codependent upon someone else to be in my life? Why is it? What do I need to do? What happened to me that caused me to feel this way? Right? And then what do I need to do to change that? Right? The next one is freedom, and it's mugwort. And I've had experience with mugwort as well, which is number 23. Let's see how mugwort pertains to freedom. Mugwort. The oracle meaning step back and observe because you are being given the opportunity to find pathways to the truth you desire. Meditation, divination, and visionary practices will help you find and explore major themes right now. You are being reminded to take heed of an intuitive experience on message you may have either ignored or not really understood. Now, today is the time to trust when you feel inside, what you know to be your personal truth, and take the road to the freedoms it will offer. Remember, what is right for others will not necessarily be right for you. Listen to your own heart. Step back and observe, babies, because you're being given the opportunity to find pathways to freedom that you desire. Pathways to freedom that you desire is wherever you're being cut short and not given what you want, you can have what you want. Give up, give up, give up that stuff that you're not getting because the universe is ready to give you everything you want. Everything you want, everything you need. But you have to protect yourself. You have to pay attention to things that hurt you that you really don't want. And you have to ask yourself, am I just settling? Why? Why? And how long am I going to settle for? You know, how long am I going to hold myself back from the things that I really truly want? You can have what you want, and the universe is ready to give it to you. But you have to look deep within your situations, and you have to make some cuts where it has to be made. You got to rip that Velcro apart, cry them little tears, love on yourself, love yourself, love yourself. If you got to hug yourself and rub yourself, kiss yourself, tell yourself, I'm going to be all right, baby. You going to be all right, you know? And if you have a moment of weakness, that's okay. Just remember, it's all going to be greater for you later. And when you become into practice of loving yourself and giving to yourself and treating yourself with love through the things that you're going through and not heartache and pain or I should have never did that and having that ego come up, be vulnerable to yourself and to others who have hurt you. I didn't say take it back. I said be vulnerable. Hey, I can't be with you no more because you hurt me and I love you so much and I've given so much of myself, but it just seems as though the more I give, the more you take. And I just have to believe who you are at this point is a taker. And, even if you come to me with a diamond ring tomorrow, that's just a ploy for you to get back in so you can keep taking. This is just who you are. And you're going to have to learn a hard lesson too, just like I had to. And we're going to have to do it from two separate places, two separate ways. I wish you the best. Thank you so much. Thank you for the experience to help me be the stronger person in my life, to help me ascend. Thank you. And I wish you the best. Anyway, good night or good morning. And I hope that somebody received something out of this that they needed. All right. Spending love and positive vibes. All right.